Have you ever learned an English word and used it perfectly today and completely forgotten it tomorrow?
I think every English learner has experienced that. It's one of the most frustrating parts of learning English. You know you've studied the word. You've even used it once. But when you need it again, it's just gone.
Exactly. And here's something interesting. Most people think they have a bad memory. They say, I'm just not good at remembering vocabulary. But what if that's not the real problem?
So you're saying it's not about having a bad memory.
Not at all. In fact, your memory is probably much better than you think. You remember your childhood friend's name. You remember your Wi Fi password. You remember the lyrics of songs you haven't heard in years. So, why do English words disappear so quickly?
That's actually a really good question. I've always wondered why I can remember a movie dialogue from years ago, but forget a word I learned just yesterday.
Exactly. And the answer has nothing to do with intelligence. It has everything to do with how you're learning those words.
That sounds interesting. So, in today's episode, we're going to find out why we forget English words so easily, and more importantly, how to remember them for a long time.
By the end of this conversation, you'll understand why memorizing long vocabulary lists usually doesn't work, and you'll learn a few simple techniques that can help you remember words naturally. So, let's get started.
Okay, Peter, let's start with the big question. Why do we forget words so fast? Is there an actual reason behind it?
There is. It's called the forgetting curve. A long time ago, a psychologist studied how quickly people forget new information, and he found something surprising.
What did he find?
He found that without any review, we forget more than half of what we learned within just one day. And after a week, most of it is gone completely.
Wait, that's kind of scary. So, it doesn't matter how hard I study. I'm going to forget it anyway?
Not exactly. It just means learning a word once is never enough. Your brain isn't being lazy, it's actually being efficient.
Efficient? How is forgetting efficient?
Think about it this way: your brain meets thousands of pieces of information every single day. If it kept everything, it would be overloaded. So, your brain has a filter. It asks one simple question about every piece of information. Is this important enough to keep?
And if the answer is no,
It gets deleted. Or at least, it becomes very hard to access.
so when I learn a new word from a list and never see it again, my brain assumes it's not important?
Exactly. That's the first big reason we forget words. We learn them in isolation, just a word and its translation. No story, no emotion, no real use. So the brain has no reason to hold on to it.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I remember making vocabulary lists in school, 50 words a day, and by the next week, I couldn't recall even 10 of them.
That's such a common experience. And it's not because those students were bad learners. It's because lists are one of the least effective ways to remember vocabulary.
Okay, so if lists don't work, what's the second reason we forget words?
The second reason is passive learning.
Passive learning? What do you mean by that?
I mean, reading a word, understanding its meaning, and moving on. No repetition, no active use. It's like watching someone ride a bicycle and expecting to know how to ride one yourself.
That's a great comparison. You can't learn to ride a bike just by watching.
Exactly. And vocabulary works the same way. Understanding a word is not the same as knowing a word. Knowing a word means you can use it instantly, in a conversation, in writing, without even thinking about it.
So, understanding is just the first step.
Right. It's the beginning, not the end.
Okay, I think I understand the problem now. We learn words in isolation, and we learn them passively. So, what's the solution? How do we actually make a word stick?
This is where it gets exciting. Let's talk about the first technique: spaced repetition.
I've heard that term before, but I don't fully understand it.
It's simple actually. Instead of reviewing a word once and forgetting about it, you review it again after 1 day, then after 3 days, then after a week, then after a month.
So, you're reviewing it right before you're about to forget it?
Exactly. That's the key idea. Every time you review a word, just before forgetting it, your brain says, oh, this one keeps showing up. It must be important. And slowly, that word moves from short term memory into long term memory.
That's fascinating. So, it's not about reviewing more, it's about reviewing at the right time.
Exactly. Quality of timing over quantity of repetition.
Okay, technique number 1, spaced repetition. What's next?
Technique number 2, context over definition.
What does that mean exactly?
It means instead of learning a word with just its meaning, learn it inside a sentence, a story, a real situation.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you learn the word reluctant if you just memorize. Reluctant means unwilling. That information has almost nothing to hold on to.
Right, it's just floating alone in your memory.
Exactly. But now imagine this sentence instead. She was reluctant to speak in front of the class because she was afraid of making mistakes.
Oh, I can actually picture that.
Exactly. Now the word has a picture, an emotion, and a situation attached to it. And your brain remembers pictures and emotions far better than plain definitions.
That's so true. I still remember words from movies I watched years ago because they came with emotion and story.
Exactly. That's the power of context.
Okay, so far we have spaced repetition and context. What's the third technique?
Technique number 3, active use.
I think I can guess what this means.
Go ahead, try.
It means actually using the word yourself, not just reading or hearing it.
Exactly right. Speaking a word out loud, writing it in a sentence, using it in a conversation, these actions force your brain to retrieve the word actively.
And active retrieval is stronger than passive recognition?
Much stronger. Recognizing a word when you see it is easy. But producing that same word when you're speaking, that's a completely different level of memory.
So, even if I make mistakes while using a new word,
Even better, mistakes actually help you remember. When you make a small error and someone corrects you, that moment creates a strong memory. It's uncomfortable, but it works.
that's reassuring actually. I always felt embarrassed about making mistakes while speaking.
Don't be. Every mistake is a memory anchor. The learners who improve fastest aren't the ones who avoid mistakes. They're the ones who keep speaking despite them.
Okay, I love that mindset. So we have spaced repetition, context, and active use. Is there a fourth technique?
Yes, and this one is often overlooked. Connection and association.
Connection and association? Tell me more.
Our brains remember things by connecting new information to something we already know. So when you learn a new word, try to connect it to a personal memory, a sound, or an image.
Can you give an example of that?
Sure. Let's take the word gigantic. Instead of just remembering gigantic means very big. Picture the biggest building you've ever seen. Maybe a skyscraper in your city. Now attach the word gigantic to that image.
So every time I think of that skyscraper,
The word gigantic comes back with it. That's association in action.
that's such a simple idea, but I've never thought about it that way.
Most learners don't. They treat vocabulary like data to memorize instead of experiences to connect with.
Okay, this has been incredibly helpful so far. Let's talk about one more thing before we wrap up. Is there a technique that combines everything we've talked about?
Yes, actually. And it's probably the most powerful one. Storytelling.
Storytelling?
Yes. Instead of learning 5 random words separately, create one short story that uses all 5 words together.
Oh, that's clever. So the words support each other inside one memory.
Exactly. And a story naturally has context, emotion, and structure. It becomes so much easier for your brain to hold on to.
I think I'm going to start doing that with my own vocabulary list.
It works wonderfully. And the best part is, you don't need to be a great writer. Even a short, simple, slightly silly story works perfectly.
Laughs. That's good to know. I was already worried about writing a masterpiece.
No pressure at all. Simple is better here.
Okay, let's summarize everything for our listeners.
Sounds good. Let's do a quick recap.
First, spaced repetition. Review words right before you're about to forget them.
Second, context over definition. Learn words inside sentences and situations, not alone.
Third, active use. Speak and write the word yourself. Don't just recognize it.
Fourth, connection and association. Link new words to images or memories you already have.
And fifth, storytelling. Combine several words into one simple story.
If you use even 2 or 3 of these techniques consistently, you'll notice a real difference within just a few weeks.
I love that this isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter.
Exactly. Vocabulary isn't about memorizing more, it's about remembering better.
That's a wonderful way to end today's episode. So, to everyone listening, try picking just one word today. Put it in a sentence, connect it to a memory, and use it out loud.
And don't worry about forgetting it tomorrow. Just review it again and again at the right moments. That's how real vocabulary is built.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode.
We'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep learning, keep speaking, and keep growing.
Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.